Greetings, wonderful people, men and women of good conscience and lovers of freedom. We welcome you back to Nikki Bobby's desk as we bring you the after court update of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu today, as it's held at the Federal High Court, Abuja, today being Friday, the 7th day of October, 2022. And there are some important things we have to take home, what we need to bear in mind. To some people, it might be regarded as an emergency court appearance, although Mazen Nnamdi Kanu himself didn't personally come to the courts, but to some other people too, who really know what has been going on, it's not that emergency to them. Barrister Ejiofor is going to discuss about the current case that was held today and the look ahead of the pronouncements of the previous court's hearing at the appeal court that was held some time ago. The Federal Appeal Court, right? As well as our brother Michael Okpaya, who regained freedom yesterday and was awarded victory. These are the areas that Barrister Ejiofor is going to take us through. And it will be very, very important for our people to pay critical attention to what Barrister Ejiofor is going to say as he carries along. Try to put one or two together to understand in between the line the things he say, and that will take you a long way to be corrected, and it will make you to understand those who are on the right paths all this way from the beginning of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu issue, those that we refer to as infiltrators. Barrister Ejiofor is going to explain these things for all of us.
I first of all apologize for not informing you of the proceedings of this morning in good time. You in person, because you recall that last week you kind of clarified on the announcement made by some persons over the social media about Saturn declared on Tuesday. That was this week Tuesday. So, and in the course of doing so, we made it known to the public that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu Oyendo, his matter is coming up this week. We have two of his matters coming up this week, one on extraordinary rendition and one challenging the constitutionality otherwise of new practice, criminal practice direction on the Federal High Court on terrorism matters. So we have suit to file in respect thereto. So, and two of them were adjourned today for further mention. So it came up that was on June this year, and constantly adjourned today for further mention. So we made it known to the public that it's coming up this week. We are not specific to the date. In view of some issues we are trying to manage around our areas, so around our zone. So because of the fact that once someone hears about Oyendo's case coming up without confirming whether we'll be in court or not, so people will start we take advantage of that pronouncement to be causing problem in our zone. So we are trying to manage such situation. As soon as we are done managing it, we'll start announcing in good time. But once Oyendo is coming to court, or there's a matter of interest, there's a serious matter involving, like when the claimant will be delivered in court of appeal on his case, then in that case, you will hear it will announce through the approved channels as to the dates given to us by court of appeal or when we're going back to the court. So by other segments of his cases we have in Federal High Court and other places, we should find a way of managing it and possibly letting those supposed to know, and also getting across to Umuchineke in due time as to when to come up. So thank you so much. However, this matter came up this morning. The one who filed against the federal government of Nigeria, the AG Federation, on his kidnapping and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria. So that's the matter, is actually the main case dealing with the constitutionality, the interpretation of the relevant laws, international laws on extraordinary rendition, particularly section 15 of Extradition Act LFN 204 of Nigeria. So we're inviting the court to interpret this section of the law. So and also Article 12.4 of African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and other relevant international laws which Nigeria are in breach of, in the manner in which they abducted Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and brought into Nigeria to face trial. So these laws are uniform, are united in opinion that once the the authority of the Nigerian government is in breach of these laws, that Nnamdi Kanu can no longer be detained, talk less of being tried in a law. So we are not inviting the court through what we file in court within summons to interpret the relevant section of the laws and also make pronouncements thereto. If the court found that this law, the fragment of Nigeria is in breach of these laws, then the court will declare the detention and the subsequent trial illegal and restore him back to where they brought him from. And they can't shy away from it because it's an international mandate. It's a mandate. It's mandatory on the part of the government that they must respect this law they entered into. They are part of this. They are to these laws. So this is the first case that came up today for further mention, and the courts and the processes filed out of time were regularized by the parties. So and matter adjourned to December 4th. The court actually wanted to hear the matter next day. I said no, I have to appeal to the court to understand the sensitive nature of the case. And my lord subsequently adjourned the matter to December 14th for hearing on the merit. And as we understand, the schedule is tight. I understand they had a lot of cases on his hand. But I said no, this is part of the serious cases you must consider. This lawsuit will consider because of its effects on other matters, sister cases in court. So, and the lordship obliged us and adjourned the matter to December 14th. So, however, it's pertinent also to make it known to the public at this point in time, and also to Mushineke, that it's in this case, that the federal government, for the first time, admitted before the court, apart from their open admission made in the Court of Appeal at last adjourned date. So, admitted before the Court of Appeal, before this court, in what they filed, in the accountability to the main suit, that they kidnapped Mazoni and Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, and also subjected him to detain him in a facility, security facility. That was what they said. So, and consequently brought him here. So it was contained in the account affidavit on oath. So it's no longer in dispute because of why we are in court. They have by their own very admission accepted violating international laws, extant international laws, that required Mazoni and Nnamdi Kanu to be subjected to extradition proceedings if at all he has committed an offense of law. In Kenya, there before, following the due process has laid down under Article 1214 and 1214 of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, and also and section 15.1 of the Extradition Act E25 Law LFN 204, and also the rules of the provisions to that section, which borders on rules of specialty, that those conditions must be fulfilled. That condition means he must be subjected to extradition proceedings laid down by the law before he will be rendered to Nigeria. So they are all in breach of these laws. So, and they accepted in their process before the court, trying to justify his abduction, that it was illegal, the manner he was abducted. So in their efforts to justify the fact they arrested, they call it arrest in what they filed in court, and the extraordinary addition to Nigeria, they accepted in black and white that he was arrested in Kenya, was abducted in Kenya. So, and that settles the case. So it's now adjourned to 14th of December for full hearing. So I will believe that justice and nothing more than justice will happen in this case, and we are holding tenaciously to the fact that we'll get justice at the end. So once a matter is adopted, briefs are adopted in Court of Appeal and adjourned, judgment are usually reserved. These are not being given. But what transpired in open court is clear that this judgment will be delivered soon. I have this feeling that this judgment will be delivered on or before the end of this month, because of certain questions and clarifications we made in open court. Court was trying to ask the position of the matter before the High Court, before the lower court, and we told him. And they assured us in open court that we may not expect this month judgment to last longer, and we'll deliver it as quick as possible. So I have this feeling and the belief that we don't deliver this, all important judgment will deliver this. And the most important thing is that justice can only be delayed and not denied. So, and it is sacrosanct that justice must be done in this case. We don't expect anything less than that. So, and in the fullness of time, possibly within the month, we'll hear it out from the horse's mouth, and it will happen. So, because we have done our own part and believe in God, that God will crown our efforts with success. And all you do will regain his freedom, not only then freedom, you come out victorious and will be freed. we usually say much over the media before now, and when we discovered about so many people who are, I don't know if in your own terminology you call them infiltrators, so, and the mischief and nuisance they are causing. So we decided to be very circumspect with things we say to the public and believe in action than words, and which has been working out for us. So Mike Obai is one of the cases that I will never forget in a haste. Let me just give you this background. When Mike was arrested, it was brought our attention, and we immediately followed up and filed an application for. We initially thought he was brought to Abuja here. So, an information we got from the relevant people who were detained and released was that Mike Obai was detained here. Now, unknown to us that the person that was detained here was then Mike Kano. So we now went to court to file an application for the release. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. So, and we proceeded in court and won the case in court. The court also awarded compensatory damages against them, SSS, for detention of arrest and detention of Mike Kano. And Mike Kano was eventually released. Well, only for me on a further inquiry, and I discovered that the person when the person came out, and I discovered that this person is not Mike Obai. We then went back to Iowa State after assessing some information. So we went back to Iowa State to commence an application for his release. And thankfully, yesterday I ended in prison, as I always say. So courts found his arrest illegal, detention and further detention unlawful. Declared and directed the police to release him without any form of condition immediately, forthwith. Proceeded to award the damages of 60 million damages against the police, and also cost of action 200,000. Now, having said that, we also following up. Let me tell you something. We are doing much behind the scene. We are doing much for people that are in detention, people that have been arrested behind the scene, and all the cases we are finding in court following up. We don't usually like making them public because most times we have come to realize that people, even some of us, some people who call our colleagues, are working against our interests, even in some of these cases. So, and not talk less of those who consider themselves as part of one motion. That's why most times when you see me right, I qualify them as sensible motion. I have a reason for saying that. So they are all there working against in terms of cases are handling in court. So either by their pronouncement or by their probably by their write-ups. So we now devise a way of managing it, because in our Igbo proverb say that honorable why mutankwe ezi mutankwe nwunye amụta no here. Now nwoke pụọ n'ụzọ na-agwa ndị mmadụ bịa come to my house, now everything is okay. Nwaanyị anọ na gate na-agwa ha the man anọkwa ya n'ọpụgo. So nwoke na ọzọ n'ụlọ chegidezi onye na-abata n'ọfụ ndị bịa na sọ gịnị na ama nwunye na gate na-edischarge ndị mmadụ ha na-abaga na nọchọrọ ka ọfụ anabịa. So these are strategy we're adopting. So, and be assured that everybody being detained illegally by the police, SSS, or military must do this. We came back from Niger State yesterday. It's important for me to say this to the public and not too much. The very, very serious development we are working, also taking up. People that came from Ebonyi State, because let them also, I hope they will listen to this interview. They've been calling me, sending me texts, and I'm not good at responding to messages either on my WhatsApp or text for reasons best known to me. So now, let me tell them, those that were arrested on their way going back after the first appearance of Azonian in prison in Federal High Court, they were arrested somewhere in Lokoja and brought to the SSS. From SSS, an action was filed in Federal High Court by a colleague of mine, and they transferred them to Daji, Niger State, where they usually detain people. We now follow them up to the Niger State. We have filed an application for the release in Niger State, all of them, including the Dara too. So we filed an application for the release and also for court to declare their detention and arrest illegal. Do you know? And we force the military to file a response, because from actions we are taking, person will file. Usually when you file, they will ignore you because they believe they are above the law. So this time around, they file response to those applications. It's coming off sometime. It's coming out this month for hearing on the application. So, and what's an interesting part of it is that The military, in their counter affidavit application, they stated on oath that those being referred to them to detain them are coming from executive order. You know what it means? Are being referred to them on executive order. So apparently they are not those being detained at that barracks, that where they're being detained, that Niger State, are being detained at the leisure of the executive or the president and others. So that's the meaning of it. So now we have responded to that application for them to tell us whether that president, whoever has given that order, is above the law. If you're no longer running a constitutional democracy, they should come to court and tell the court. So we are not resting on our oaths to ensure that everybody unlawfully arrested and illegally detained are freed. We're not less rested at all. I can assure you my lawyers are all over the place. So that's why we are managing information, managing strategies, managing things to say to the public. We are most passionately appealing to Mushineke to bear with us. We are limited in our things to stay for reasons for their own interest too, and for the interest of everybody. So I will believe that in the end it shall surely end in praises. God Almighty is always on the throne and shall always be there for us. Thank you so much, my brother, for coming. May God bless you.
Thank you, Barrister, for giving us these invaluable updates, and should I say more educational as well, because this is quite educative. I want our people to take this lesson home. One, you understand the situation that IPOB have been, what we are facing. So it will be necessary that when information and instruction is being given out to any IPOB member, let those groups try as much as possible to heed to those information, because that reminds me, at that very first beginning that Mazi, or the second appearance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that so many people were mobilized to go to Abuja, IPOB leadership made it possible, instructed every Biafran, every IPOB member that if you are going, do not put up any IPOB signal or sign, and do not chatter boards, do not go as a group. Those instruction was laid down accurately so that our people will follow it. But that is where the problem comes. Those are our brothers from Ebonyi State that was arrested by the zoo security officers did not heed to this particular instruction. They decided to do whatever they want, and that is what landed them to the problem they are. I am not saying that those who heed to some certain instruction are not really getting involved, that the Zoological Republic operatives are not really taking them. They are still taking them, but if you heed to instruction, it will go a long way to reduce the challenge we are facing. They were the only people that was arrested that time. Other people that heed to the instruction, that followed the instruction that the IPOB leadership gave, they weren't arrested. They came back peacefully and successfully. It was only those from Ebonyi State, those who decided not to heed to the instruction. I am saying that we should try as much as possible to take note of the instruction being given to us. Like I always say, that those leadership, the DOS, they are in the best position to track information, to tell us what will benefit us. And if we should follow those instructions, it will go a long way to help all of us. Now till today, it's just about 1 year as well, or more than 1 year. Those are our brothers from Ebonyi State are still in the custody of DSS and the military. And the legal team are still working so hard to see how they will bring them out. And again, what I want you to understand is that having followed sequentially the discussion of Barrister Ejiofor, you will be able to understand those whom he was pointing at when he's saying infiltrators, when he said those who decide to make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out, those who claim that they are IPOB, in other words, they are not. You do not need more interpretation. I want you to reason. Use your common sense. Like I always say, that when you are being implored to use your common sense, it's not an insult, but it's just telling you the way things are. To this point, I believe so many of you will have understand exactly what role some people are playing. Those who claim and those who are giving order, who claim that they are supporting Biafra, giving order sitting from somewhere, but they are not. And this is one of the reasons why IPOB did not really make it, or should I say the legal team, did not make this court hearing known to so many people. Like I said before, to some people, it might sound as if it's an emergency, but in other words, practically it's not that emergency because the legal team knows, the IPOB leadership knows. They decided to make it known to the public just a few hours before then. So that is that. That's what we are trying to bring to you. Because they said that if a bird learns how to fly without perching, then the hunter will learn how to shoot without targeting. So that's how it goes. This is a new strategy that the IPOB leadership as well as the legal team have adopted so that they will keep everything in check. We thank you wonderful people for listening. And we are marching there. We are going there for the Zoological Republic government to first today admit that yes, that they committed crime against Mazin and the canon, that they actually extraordinarily rendition him. Today was the first day that they accepted that, acknowledged that. So we are marching somewhere. We still remain Biafrans, and we believe that it is in Biafra land that all of us have our citizenship, and until Biafra is fully restored, we will not rest. May you remain safe and blessed wherever you may be.